I'm Chris Williams from Cyclone Fanatic and a proud Iowa State graduate from the class of 2007. No one shows up like Iowa State fans. And Cyclones support Cyclones on and off the field. Your gift can provide scholarships to students, fund groundbreaking research. We can even drum up opportunities for the marching band. Visit MoveWhatMatters.com to learn how you can make an impact today.
Success in farming is all about precision and efficiency, ensuring every seed, every drop of water, every nutrient and treatment counts. Terraplex Ag is helping farmers all over Iowa and the Midwest do just that. With precision ag-grown technology and support from Terraplex, you'll boost your productivity and make timely and informed decisions, all while reducing your costs and increasing your profit. It's time to revolutionize your farming. Harvest the benefits with Terraplex Ag. Visit TerraplexAg.com.
Chris Williams, Brent Blum. From the Northwest Bank Studios, it's Williams and Blum, presented by Mechdyne on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network.
What is up, Blum? I'm not C-Dub. Sorry to
much better
tell the
looking.
folks at home.
Much better looking, clearly.
I appreciate that. I am Jake Brent filling in for Chris Williams.
Good job with Michael Buffer, because that's exactly where Williams is. He's in Vegas.
That's right.
With Mr. Buffer, we assume.
I'd ask him feedback on the show, but there's no way he'll remember it when he listens.
You won't. You won't. He's got his big book signing today. I'm happy for him to get out there. Sounds like he's having a good time, and let's hope the Iowa State men's basketball team has a good time as well when they're out there. We'll get into that.
It's going to be a great tournament. Just morning to night. If you look at the schedule, it seriously tips off first thing in the morning out in Vegas, and it goes until late in the night. Basketball heaven, and the Cyclones are involved.
When you're out there, it'd be hard to. You and me are basketball nuts. Like, I don't even want to go to the casino. I just want to watch basketball then.
I know. When it was a possibility that I'd go, I was thinking about that. I'm like, when am I going to find time to sleep? We got Alabama Gonzaga at one point. And UNLV's playing San Diego State at 10 p.m., but I still got to go play blackjack.
You got to go play. Yeah, you got to go to the tables. Unfortunately, not my favorite tables out there because they're not the $5 variety.
That's right.
Rich for my blood.
Williams and Blum Sunday is brought to you, as always, by Mechdyne, enabling discovery. And they're doing it about as good as anybody does it around here. And they're always hiring good Cyclones, and if you're looking for a potential job switch, Chris Clover and his team is a great spot to look.
5.5 years sponsoring this show. Crazy. Wow. And appreciated.
All the way back to COVID.
All the way back to COVID.
They've been sponsoring this show since Jalen Daniels' freshman year at Kansas.
Before Jalen Daniels was a freshman, in fact, yes.
That's stability, and that's the type of company that you're getting yourself into if you go and seek out Mechdyne.
Absolutely.
Well, we are going to talk basketball, but I think we got to talk about the football team first. Iowa State dominates Kansas start to finish on senior day. Probably the most complete game of the season, really, in all facets, offense, defense, special teams. And the Cyclones send the seniors home feeling good. They send the fans home feeling good for the last time this season at Jack Trice Stadium. Blum, what were your takeaways out in the bleachers?
Yeah, just that. I mean, it was just the perfect day. I mean, all the way around. Started Friday with the rumblings about the Psi NATO logo, and it just kind of went from there of, senior day, and obviously, man, what a great group of dudes. I'm going to miss all of them, but really from the get-go, weather was perfect, and Iowa State just did exactly what it wanted to do, and that's run it right at them. I thought Rocco was super efficient, and they gave him some easy stuff like that one to Eskelson there. Brett Eskelson was awesome. The receivers caught pretty much everything, And then defensively, I don't think it's going to get talked about enough, but Iowa State actually made some big-time adjustments from a year ago against Kansas. And you'll notice, Jake, they had basically like 2 different spies on Daniels, where they really didn't want to let him use his feet. And I thought defensively it was just really sharp all the way around. Conradi makes a couple of big field goals. Aiden Flora goes nuts again.
Yeah.
It just made you. It was honestly exactly what I think this entire fan base needed. It was just a good, comfortable, quality win against a Kansas program who had beaten you 3 times in a row. And Iowa State was clearly the better football program yesterday, and that's exciting. And now you go down to Stillwater, a chance to win 8. A bowl game would be 9. And as Campbell said in the post game, we have the chance to do something that only 3 other Iowa State teams have ever done, and that's win 9 games. So, I think this team is still clearly has a lot of fight in it, and they did not let that rough October derail the season. And I'm just happy for all of them that they had a quality day, and specifically those seniors had a quality day. And I'll even highlight in particular of those seniors, the ones on the offensive line. And they just really,
what a unit.
they just really bullied them around. And, for so long, Jake, on the show, Ceedham and I would almost have to like cringe of like, we heard the offensive line is going to be a little bit better this year. And then almost immediately people on the internet are like, here they go again. Well, finally, can we get some affirmation in the congregation? The offensive line was great yesterday and has been great really all season long. And kudos to Ryan Clanton and his fellas.
It's probably the best offensive line of the Campbell era. I know they were really, really good in 2020, but you had a premier NFL back in the backfield. Carson Hansen, Abu Sama have been great this year. Aiden Flores coming on strong. They're awesome. They're not Breece Hall at the same time. I think this is much more of a compliment maybe than that 2020 team was, even though that was a really strong unit back then. But what Clanton has done in year 3, it's really impressive. Really impressive.
Five straight 100-yard rushers in Big 12 play. That is unbelievable. I mean, Iowa State's up to 180 yards rushing per game in Big 12 play. Just the things that I don't think anybody thought was possible. And then more than anything, Jake, and it's I think resembles a little bit about what's going on with the team, stayed healthy. The position groups that got decimated by injury, Iowa State really struggled in those areas during that stretch. But that offensive line was healthy pretty much all year long and, played like it. And it gives you a lot of optimism for what this program could be because with Clanton there, I think the guy's a superstar. I think Ryan Clanton is a superstar. What he's done with that unit, the young talent they have in that pipeline, they get another commit in the tailgate lots before the game with Will Slagle from Grinnell, which was awesome.
Top recruit.
And then state. Even I thought it was really neat. The big man in for like 5 or 6 plays. I'm going to butcher his name.
99.
99. Yeah, but he's going to be good.
With the name too.
Yeah, he's going to be really good. And the fact that they got him some run in there, and I was just really excited for that offensive line. And they're going to be good for a while. And you're going to return Hansen and Sama and Flora and Lee and just some really good building blocks in that offensive line room that can be the foundation for this program in the years ahead.
It was really good to see Rocco Becht be able to have a smile on his face.
Yeah.
I mean, when I especially felt this when I watched the game back this morning, what they were able to do early by establishing the run, Hansen was seemingly getting 10 yards a carry.
Yep.
Is what it felt like, and he was getting every important yard they needed on that 4th and 2, the pitch out to the sideline, great play by Mauser.
Yep.
That allowed Rocco to settle in. And
totally.
It allowed him to play a little more free. And I think a massive play in that game was, of course, the touchdown to Eskelson, where what's happened so many times this year. Iowa State makes a play, they get knocked out of bounds, tackled at the 1, the 2, and then
they can't
kind
get
of
it
to
in.
clench.
Yep.
Eskelson getting in there, Sewell making that awesome grab at the end of the first half. You could just see that take off some of the training wheels. Not that Rocco's on training wheels.
No.
But that he needed to see a couple plays go down. And that's exactly what happened. He was playing like vintage Rocco in that second half.
Yeah, and we start 9 for 9, 10 for 10.
Yeah, 10 for 10.
And how many games did it seem like on that first drive Iowa State had, they'd have a bad drop? I mean, the Colorado game is the perfect example.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Where literally Iowa State was moving it great, and then you have a couple drops and everything derails. And I firmly believe if you play that game 10 times, Iowa State wins 9 of them. But it was a comedy of errors in that game, and it is what it is. But great point. I thought that first drive established the run, exactly what Iowa State wanted to do. And then Rocco didn't miss a throw. And I think from that point, it was like, okay, this is exactly what we anticipated. If Iowa State could have scripted how it wanted to play all year, it was that. Like, what you saw was exactly it. Controlled, what was time of possession? 40 minutes to 20?
40 minutes, yeah.
I mean, it was just a complete dismantling with the big bodies, and that's exactly what, if Iowa State could have scripted it, that's exactly how it would have gone. And just it makes you feel good for them that they righted the ship and they won 2 games in a row now, and then have a chance to go beat Oklahoma State, and obviously will be significant favorites down there. And man, 8-4, maybe in a weird way to get it this year, but it would have beat the season expectations according to Vegas.
Well, and one more thing on Rocco. I'm about as big as a Rocco fan as you'll find, and I know I'm not as a big a fan as you. Like you are. You
Team
are
Rocco.
The president of the Rocco Becht fan club.
I'm the Team Beck fan club, absolutely.
And what I respect about Rocco so much, 4 straight losses where he was not at his best, nowhere near his best, especially those 2 games at Jack Trice Stadium against BYU and Arizona State. Rocco still came in and did post-game
There you
media
go.
when he didn't have to. I guarantee you he had the decision, hey, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it.
Oh,
and he did it. Tears in his eyes. I've heard stories from like Rob Gray on how we didn't see Sam B. Richardson for months.
What's good for? It's true.
With all due respect
No
to Sam.
no shots at Sam Richardson. I wouldn't want to go in there either. We called that the Jeff Woody era of Iowa State coverage. It's like when Iowa State needed a victim to send into postgame, they just sent Woody in there, and he gave them all the analogies possible.
But it makes that smile hit a little bit different when we had. I mean, that Arizona State game, I think we maybe talked to him for 2 minutes, and it was none of us wanted.
Yeah,
ask questions.
You don't even want to ask questions.
He said everything he could have possibly said, just by his facial expressions, and by being there. Yeah. And to see that resolve a couple weeks later, see him joking around, having that smile on his face, it should make the entire fan base happy.
Yeah, well, and then I mean, honestly, I'm a big picture guy. It's a short season, but it feels like the days are really long, and just having this little burst of progress here towards the end of the year, I think makes you feel better going into the offseason. And there's going to be some changes. There always is in the program when you go into an offseason, but at the very least, you want your quarterback feeling good about things, and you want your receivers who, by the way, I thought the receivers played their best game of the season. And
yes,
I think for the first time this year, Jake, it's like, okay, Chase Sowell made some big plays. Obviously, Eskelson had an amazing game, and I think that guy's got the chance to be all-conference level talent, Brett Eskelson. And even Xavier Townsend comes in and makes that unbelievable, probably the catch of the year by an Iowa State receiver there on the sideline in the second half. Just a lot of good things. You're like, okay, I can see it now with what you have coming back. You're going to have another year of Rocco and those running backs. And, I think question marks at the offensive line, but there's some young talent there, clearly. And you can kind of see the blueprints for what next year can be now. It's not lost on me either. I was listening to John and Eric last night. Iowa State now, with 1 game to go, just set a program record for most wins over a 3-year time span.
Wow.
With 25. And it's just like, holy cow. I mean, that's pretty cool. And I know this season did not go how we all wanted. You did not want a game against Kansas on November 22nd to really, not have conference championship implications. But at the same time, this has still been a pretty steady ride over the last 3 years, and you've got a lot of people coming back next year as well. So, again, just really good feeling after Arizona State was about as bummed as I've seen Jack Trice Stadium in years after that game for multiple reasons. Yeah. And it was nice, I think, for everybody to have one where you go in the offseason feeling really good about that Jack Trice experience.
It's been cool to see Carson Hansen gradually become what he's become.
Yeah.
I feel like all these all these Iowa State running backs that have become the guy or the star, it felt like it went from, why aren't they playing? Why aren't they playing? Why aren't they playing? To, oh my gosh, 200 yards. And then they're just the guy. And Hansen, it kind of gradually, he just became this super consistent back. And Matt Campbell and Rocco Becht had some pretty good quotes talking about number 26 after the game.
One of the toughest young men in our program, how he runs the football, how he runs the football late in games, how he came back into the game today to run the football. Every run I feel like he has is a major car wreck at the end, right? Like it's just, he's got that physical ability to fall forward every time he runs the football. And when that happens, that's usually not just a simple tackle by the shoestrings. It's violent. And I think he plays with, that violence and that consistency all the time. That's hard to do, especially at tailback. But, we're really proud of him.
Honestly, a split personality, because when that guy's on the field, he turns into a different man. When he's off the field in the facility, in the locker room, humble guy, down to earth, faithful guy. And when he gets on the field, he's a different breed. And so I'm happy to have both of those guys, Abu and Carson, on our team and have them in the backfield with me.
Good stuff there from Campbell and Rocco.
Yeah, and I'm just looking it up right now, Jake. He's averaging now 5.2 yards per carry. Okay,
really, really good.
Which is, just to give you some context, Breece Hall's career average was 5.3 at Iowa State.
Wow.
So, I know he's not Breece. Okay, and obviously I think the line is probably better than Breece's group. That's not a shot at my guy Colin Newell and Remy and those guys. Love you guys. But he gets it. He gets what's there, and I just think his numbers when you look at the last couple of years, the guy's averaging over 5 yards per carry. That is not typical for an Iowa State back. I mean, you start talking Breece Hall, at 5.4, 5.4 yards. I think Troy Davis' career ended up at 5.3 yards, and Carson's at 5.2. So, and again, not those guys. I'm not saying Carson Hansen is Troy Davis or Breece Hall. But production-wise, he's about as good as Iowa State's ever had, and you just maybe don't appreciate it because he's not as flashy as those guys were and doesn't have, the 2,000-yard season or whatever Breece had, the 1,750. But, man, that guy is as steady as it gets, and the nicest young guy, too. I got to tell a quick story. I was up in the facility giving a tour to a donor a couple weeks ago and ran into Carson and Aiden Flora. And I was like, just so friendly, so kind, and they went out of their way, and it was just like, you forget that that's a violent football player on the football field, both of them too. It felt like walking into a cafeteria, at the old Maple Willow Larch days for me. But really good dudes, and I'm just happy for both Flora, but also Hansen for sticking out. And I was nervous he got hurt there, but for him to come back in and run just as hard and. He is definitely, I don't think there's any question in the fan base. He's becoming a fan favorite and one of the most popular guys on the team because he doesn't say much, but the guy just works his butt off, and it's showing. Yeah,
and he's a guy who I think is going to keep becoming more of a fan favorite than
no doubt.
I feel like he's been a very, very underrated piece, even by me. Like, you kind of take that for granted a little bit, and I think coming into next year, he's going to be one of those guys that you really, really look forward to seeing on the field.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about Iowa State and the running backs, I mean, David Montgomery, Breece Hall, and all of the talent there, and yet Carson has been just about as productive as any of them. So, and excited for him to come back. And I thought you had a great point, and I appreciate it very much on Twitter yesterday, where you highlighted that Abu Sama run.
Oh man, yeah.
On a third and 3?
I think it was 3rd and 4.
3rd and 4, and that guy's taken a lot of criticism in his 3 years at Iowa State for avoiding contact, and he stuck his head in there like he has done for most of the year, by the way. I think that guy's gotten a lot better too, and he just pounded his way for a critical first down when Kansas was starting to put some pieces together. Iowa State goes down and scores, and then the game was essentially over after that. So big hat tip to Abu Sama, who continues to get better as well.
Well, the crazy part about that play, I posted the video on Twitter, so go to Jake Brent TV to check it out. That play was at like the 35, 40-yard line, so I was 60 yards away. And I had a few people comment, "Oh, you can hear the pop." And I went back and listened. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you can hear the pop." And I was so far away from that play. So good stuff from Sama.
Yeah. It's a nice 1-2 punch. It really is.
Probably should talk about the defense a little bit. We got all this way, and it's been well documented the struggles that Kansas has given Iowa State defensively, especially the last 2 years. Last year when Iowa State was without Dom Orange, without 10 linebackers essentially.
The safety
Malik
got hurt.
was out.
Yep.
And the year before that, Jason Bean and Andy Kotelnicki put together a really good game plan. Iowa State holds Daniels to 154 yards, doesn't throw for a touchdown. The backup comes in and throws one. But
that was a great play, by the way.
Yeah, that was a really good play.
Nice play.
For the most part, John Haycock held Kansas completely in check and made them look really pedestrian. And Kansas might be pedestrian as a team. They are not a pedestrian offense, though.
No, that's a really good offense, and it's an offense that runs the ball on pretty much everybody, and just they did okay. I mean, they had some numbers there. I mean, they ended up running for 132, though, and 6 yards per carry, which is a decent amount, but it wasn't the last couple of years where it was gashes. You know, you're talking 15, 20, 25-yard gallops that were really backbreaking. I thought those young corners were awesome. I was happy. David Coffey played a lot. I mean, I don't know what his PFF snap count was, but he was in there a bunch. Obviously, Quentin Taylor at that other corner continues to get better. If you think about Iowa State had 2 true freshman corners, or I guess I don't know if they're true freshmen, but 2 freshman corners. Carson Van Dinter played a lot as a young guy. Marcus Neal continues to be the best player on that defense.
Drew Surges
is just
along.
like, man, like again, I mean, I'm an optimist by nature, but these are the adversity has caused this group to get a lot of reps, and guess what? They're getting better, you know? Like it just happens, and it's not the way you want to get reps, but it also, I think, portends really good things for next year because you've got these guys with some experience. The other thing, Jake, too, is those guys see it, and when you feel success on the actual playing field, it makes you want to stick around a little bit too. And I think that's the other side of this coin is when you start talking about, because we're going to get into it here in a month, when that portal opens, you know, it may not be as chaotic as it has been, but it's still going to be chaotic. And the fact that guys have seen that they can have success at a place is a huge deal when you start talking about player retention. I think that's what this program does, maybe more than any other program, better than any program in the country, is they get guys reps. And by getting them reps, it keeps them ready to go when you do have an injury, but also then it keeps them happy. And that's a bigger battle than even just pure financial dollars in a lot of ways.
We've got to give out our preferred pest control of the game.
Man.
And I feel like I got to go with Drew Surges. This is a guy that I think has been maybe a scapegoat for some of the fan base for some time, and he's been picked on certainly in his time over the last 3 seasons. He was everywhere yesterday. He made a really big tackle on the edge. Yep. He had a couple pass breakups. Surges has really come along, and he is by far playing the best football of his career the last couple weeks.
Yeah, and he's been hurt for a while, so he's finally healthy.
Pretty much missed almost all of last year.
And then, but he has been a absolute transformational player the last couple of weeks. He's been great. He was my preferred pest last week. I can't give it to him twice, so I'll give my guy Marcus Neal. Can I do that? The Shark, is that it?
I think so.
I had to ask my 7-year-old, and then because the kids are doing all the dance stuff now. I was like, "What is that? The shark thing?" He's like, "No, that's just a Marcus Neal thing."
Yeah, it's all Neal.
It's all Neal. Okay, so the shark, but man, the shark was great again, and the fact he got that interception was really cool. And it's just having 31 back there makes you feel better about the defense. And I thought he played really well. And then honestly, I'm gonna give a shout out to who I thought was just solid again, and that's Ike Isiagu, who's put together several weeks in a row here where he's just been good. Like he's not Will McDonald. He's not trying to be, but in that scheme, you need those defensive ends to take up space, and he has 100% done a really good job the past couple of weeks. So I wanted to give a shout out because a defensive line that's not a sexy position for what he has to do, and I thought he's played really well last couple of weeks.
Yeah, a lot of pests in a good way.
Yeah, and
State yesterday.
And Conradi.
Oh yeah, that's got to be a pest.
Yeah.
Oh, we stopped the offense, wind swirling, and then they just bring out their kicker and hit a 55-yard.
Yeah,
it was absolutely nothing.
And then you know what the other part was? Both he and Gilbert both got a kick through the end zone, which
I didn't see that Conradi
did
any kickoffs.
He kicked off in the second half, which was I did a little, that's interesting. But he kicked it right through the end zone. So, again, another positive for what had ailed Iowa State during the entire month of October. I can't tell you enough how much of a struggle that was with that kickoff situation. It was, you were sweating bullets every time you had to kick, and it obviously affected the performance in several of those games, and we don't need to go revise the past here, but even that simple thing was a big win yesterday.
Yeah, just big picture-wise, it does feel like this is a team that knows how to lose, and that's important. That's something Matt Campbell said, that he needs to find guys that he can lose with before he can win with them. And there's a lot of teams. There's a lot more talented teams in the country. We've seen it, Penn State, Florida State. And when they lose a game or two they shouldn't,
just go in the tank.
You go in the tank.
Yep.
And Iowa State easily could have done that after Colorado. They
Absolutely.
could have easily done that after Colorado and went and got blown out by BYU. Instead, they play pretty well against BYU and things don't go their way. They lose to Jeff Sims and go and surprise everybody by winning at TCU, and then they play their best game of the season. I think that is Matt Campbell to a T, to be able to rally the troops.
No doubt. It's what makes this program so consistent is they don't let, which that 4-game, that's about as tumultuous of times as Iowa State's had. And I think you're going to look back 10 years from now and C-Dub's writing his 5th book and say that game at TCU, it was not a thing of beauty. It was not at all. But Iowa State winning that game, I think really has a chance to be a nice little, stepping stone for what this program could be towards the end of this year. Okay, because again, I'm still winning 8-9 games. Should be celebrated. I know not the way we all want to go with 5-0 and then going from there. But I think it's one of those deals where you look back and go, man, that was a low-key, really important game. To go from, if you lose that one, 6-6 looks way different and feels way different than 8-4, 9-4. It just does. And I think that win at TCU will be one of those you look at, and that drive in particular where Rocco hits the slant and makes a big catch there with Eli Green. I think that's going to be one of those plays is just that you'll remember here for turning this season around, but also kind of changing the vibes around in the entire program.
Yeah. Absolutely. Who knows what it could do for next year.
And we're guys, it's going to be I'm not trying to bury my head in the sand. I mean, there's still are a lot of college football jobs open. And I think that locker room and if you saw Cyclone Football's Twitter post, I thought it was really indicative of what this program's about, and those guys were having a great time last night. And when you're having a good time, it's harder to leave, and it goes for players and coaches both.
Well, it could be a good time purchasing a house from our guy, Andrew Chaplin. Contact Chappie for any questions about real estate up in the Ames area.
I was meeting a donor at Welch Avenue Station, free advertisement for them, and Chappie apparently went right after I was there. I didn't give him a chance to say hello to him. Well, but I'm sure we both enjoyed an Ames lager at separate times at Welch Avenue. That's the kind of realtor you want. Somebody who'll have a Ames lager with you at Welch Avenue Station.
Yeah, someone he'll talk to you straight. He'll drink a beer with you.
He'll drink a beer with you.
It's not going to be pushy.
He'll tell you if this is that's a bad house.
Yeah. So give Andrew Chaplin all of your solutions at hunzikerrealty.com. I'd also like to give a shout out to the Ivy College of Business. You heard him earlier with Chris giving his tour. I'm excited to see his new video whenever that comes out. That's the Iowa State Foundation.
It's the foundation.
Right, both great organizations.
My buddy Tony texted me. He's from the Chicago area, and he took his kid on a tour of Ivy on Friday. And he said, "Hey, can you hook me up with one of the professors?" So I said, I'm going to send you right to the top, and send him Dean Ognahotre's contact info. And he went in there and said hi to Dean Ognahotri. And so again, we're making connections here at the Ivy College of Business. Great guy.
That's the type of just one-on-one relationship
That's
you'll
true.
Get at the Ivy College of Business. And
then
anyone should get one.
Dean Ognahotri sent me a text. He's like, "I'm glad that I'm still paying you well." And he was joking, of course. But anyway, good guy. Appreciate you, Raj.
Well, shall we get into the Wyffles Hybrid Big 12 segment?
What a day yesterday.
Let's do it.
When you plant Wyffles Hybrids, you're making a statement that independence and family-owned means something on your farm. So make your choice Plant your independence. Plant Wyffles.
We could probably spend 3 hours breaking down the Kansas State game at Utah and what ensued after. And
Kleiman just going through it, man.
Oh my gosh. I'd love to have our buddy Ema Caleb come on the program. He's been unwell the last day or so.
He was. Did I read this? Because I had a couple beverages last night in the RV Village. Did he suggest that K-State should actively torch the Big 12 because he thought there was a conspiracy to promote Utah?
Absolutely. That's exactly.
That K-State should leave the conference?
Yeah, I would say there's 2 lines of thinking to that. One would be if the Big 12 did that to try and get a second or third playoff team and Kansas State was on the wrong end of it, that's revenge for Alan Lazard.
I'd say,
the other thing I would say is there's no way that the Big 12 rigged a game like that. So our buddy Ema Caleb is not having a good time.
He's not having a good time.
Utah wins the game of the year.
That was unbelievable. And they were dead. I mean, they were dead. What was the percentage? The ESPN tracker percent, 98.5%. I mean, it's one of those, Jake, where if you're Kleiman, and I know he had the meltdown in the press conference, and I felt really bad for him because by all accounts, he's a pretty decent dude. He's from Iowa, by the way. But that's like the Paul Rhodes in K-State type situation. When you have that type of meltdown, it's one of those things is can you recover from that? And I think they have major questions about the direction of the K-State football program, all because of one quarter, though. And it wasn't just the quarter, but it's the culmination of this entire year that's just been a crap show for them. But they were this close, Jake, for a statement win, and their vibes have been totally different if they hold on and win that game. And they may, again, propel into next year that way. But because of that, they went from a statement win for Chris Kleiman to, I don't know if he's going to be around next year. And he needed the AD to step in the press conference. It was one of the more bizarre post-game pressers I've ever seen. And I felt for him because you could just feel the pressure on that guy's shoulders, and he was not handling very well.
Do you know what game that kind of reminded me of? When you look at Iowa State's success last year, winning 11 games, going to the Big 12 championship, I feel like that started in Manhattan the year before that.
Yes.
That massive win.
Yes.
Would last year have been any different if Iowa State lost that game? Maybe. We don't know. Could there have been players that transferred? That felt like the inverse last night, where K-State went out to Salt Lake City. They should have won a game that they probably shouldn't have won going into it.
They ran for 475 yards.
And Joe Jackson pretty much had an Abu Sama stat line in the first half. And they lose it. It's that is the type of game that if they won that, this season still would have been a disappointment for them. They're going to win. They'll win 6 games now. They would have won 7 if they pulled it out last night. But now you don't have that signature win. You don't have that momentum heading into the next year. Avery Johnson, a bunch of other players are going to have potential offers if they want to leave. I'm not insinuating that they will, but
nope.
It's a scary spot for K-State, and it might be a 1 year. We got to see it out of you, Kleiman, or else they might have to move on.
Yeah, and then the problem for him, and it's unfortunate, is it is what it is. But Colin Klein is having an awesome year at Texas A&M as the coordinator there, and obviously Colin Klein is Mr. K-State. That he's in almost a no-win situation here, Kleiman, because he's always got to be looking, and he employed Colin Klein, which is a hilarious part. But he's going to have to be looking behind his back all the time of oh wait, the whole family used to rather have the offensive coordinator at Texas A&M than me. I mean, that can't be a very fun spot to be in, and I think that is not helping the cause. But you're right. That's why the difference of Iowa State comfortably winning a game and everybody feeling good about life to that, when the records could have been the same, and yet you feel way different about the K-State program relative to the Iowa State program.
BYU steamroll Cincinnati. The score doesn't indicate it.
No.
But they dominated that game. LJ Martin over 220 yards on the ground. And BYU essentially ices their ticket into the Big 12 championship game as long as they're able to beat. They've got Central Florida next week at home.
Mid Florida.
Yeah,
Mid-Florida.
The University of Middle Florida, the Disney Institute.
Yes. Wait, now I think you guys did a great job on. By the way, got to promote your podcast with the Duke.
The Duke
himself, bigger than 12. So you have a really good read on this conference. I think BYU's resume is as good as pretty much they need to be in the playoff conversation now. They really do. The win at Cincinnati is a monster win for them. I think their resume stacks up with any other one-loss team in the country. I do. And yet, because they even have name recognition, they're BYU. So, I don't know. I do think yesterday was a good day for the Big 12 in that essence, in that Utah came back and won, and then BYU doing that to Cincinnati. Man, I think both Tech and BYU are two of the top 12 teams. I do.
I'd throw Utah in that mix too.
Yeah, I think they are too. I'm saying I think it would be a tough deal to not get more than one now.
I agree.
The problem is Oklahoma wins again. Like I could see I could see the Big 12 getting squeezed. However, I think BYU's resume stacks up with pretty much any other one-loss team.
Unfortunately, it looks like right now, if everything goes chalk, the Big 12 will get squeezed out.
Yes.
So what's going to need to happen? Auburn over Alabama, Mississippi State over Ole Miss, something like that. Obviously, BYU beating Texas Tech is probably the easiest scenario to get two in.
Yes.
But it just sucks because if you gave Notre Dame BYU's resume,
oh my gosh,
with one loss, wins against Utah, Cincinnati on the road, Iowa State on the road, what is Notre Dame ranked? 5th? 4th?
Yep.
It's such a double standard.
I don't get it. And even Alabama, who, all right, they beat Georgia, cool, but losses to Florida State, who's awful again. And is it we just kind of say, okay, well, you're Alabama, you get one off.
That's what happens.
Because you're right. If it's head to head, Alabama versus BYU, Alabama's going to get in.
And it's ridiculous.
They shouldn't be that way. Like you got to. Not to mention they only play 8 conference games, by the way, which we've kind of forgot about all that. Yeah, I'm Jake. I'm pre-mad, and it's not even next Sunday yet. No, with 2 Sundays. 2 Sundays. I got 2 Sundays to build up my anger towards the committee.
Gonna need some sort of, because Oregon's in now. They needed USC to maybe pull off that upset.
Yep. Not going to do it.
Gonna need one result to go your way, and I think BYU would get in if that's the case. Can't just have straight chalk though.
Totally. And then Notre Dame plays at Stanford. I mean, they're not going to lose that game.
Yeah. So. Notre Dame's in at this point.
Yeah, they're probably going to get in.
Oh, depressing.
There's going to be arguments made by the SEC that Vanderbilt has a better resume than BYU, and I can't do it. At some point, when you only play 12, winning the game and having 1 loss compared to 2, and the strength of record is very similar. Like, it's not like the Big 12 is the MAC here. We got to have a little critical thinking. But I'm preaching to the not many people who will listen, fortunately.
A couple other results. TCU wins an ugly game over Houston. I want to say you guys had a good read on this one, both winning TCU.
More C-dub than me, but that's good for them. That's a weird team, though, man. They are spacey, that TCU team.
On Bigger Than 12, I drew the comparison of 2017 Iowa State to this Houston team, where you jump up and you have those awesome wins. You can see the acceleration of the program, and it maybe went a little too quick.
Yep.
And then it levels off. Iowa State loses in Morgantown to a mediocre team. Houston loses to West Virginia, TCU. By all accounts, though, still a super successful season no matter how it ends.
Yeah, and I think it'll be interesting because obviously Houston's going to be right there along with Iowa State and TCU in regards to bowl games. For what it's worth, I keep hearing that Iowa State's preference is to potentially even drop down in the pecking order to go to Phoenix.
Okay.
Now, the Bulls don't have to listen to that. However, there is some collegiality of, okay, well, we'll ping here, we'll go there. Because the way the Bulls pick, Camping World, Houston, I guess it's the Texas Bowl. Used to be the Houston Bowl, now it's the Texas Bowl. Houston could play in the Houston-Texas Bowl. Anyway. And then Memphis. I don't think...
So the Rate Bowl's after Memphis?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is. So that's why Memphis could say, screw you guys, you're coming anyway. You know?
Hey,
but
I'd go to Memphis just as long as Memphis isn't there.
Well, it sounds
Get
like they...
them as far away from that stadium as possible.
Either way, I had people within sources close to the program, Iowa State football staff does not want to do the Memphis thing again. They just don't.
I don't blame them.
So
One bit.
I would hope everybody could get along here and send TCU there instead, or somebody else.
A couple other results we don't need to spend really any time on. Arizona State pulls away from... Honestly, Arizona and Arizona State played identical games. It was both 21-17 in the fourth quarter, and Arizona State won 42-17. Arizona wins 41-17. Like they were both ugly games, and now they get to play each other next week.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. I mean, Arizona State moving back into the top 25, by the way. I mean,
yeah,
kind of out of the blue.
Kind of quietly, yeah.
Yeah, 8-3, and they're, they've strung together 3 in a row. Now, the Iowa State game, obviously, we were there. We is what it is. And then, but beating West Virginia barely, and then, it ended up being convincing to Colorado. That game was close, though. Good job by Kenny. I again, when you start talking about coach changes, I think my eyes are on that guy, too. We'll see where this thing spins. He says he's not going anywhere. He's obviously an Arizona State guy. But I could see a world where the Auburns, whoever
LSU.
is going to overspend for that guy. LSU, yeah, I would keep an eye on LSU. Whoever misses out on Kiffin, or if Kiffin goes to Florida, then Ole Miss is going to have a bunch to spend. I'm keeping an eye on Kenny Dillingham because I could see them totally backing up the Brinks truck for that guy. Because, again, he was a coordinator in the SEC. That's why he's a little bit different, in my opinion, than Matt is in regards to SEC interest. I could see Dillingham really having a tough decision here coming up soon. He's done a nice job with that group, with what they've had without Levitt.
Think Baylor gives him a call? Wait, never mind. They're
they're
bringing old Dave back another year. Good for the Cyclone Fanatic podcast network. Good content year round to have. We pay players around.
The president basically saying, "What do you want me to do?" Linda Livingston, who's apparently a really good president, by the way, she's like, "Well, we don't have an AD. We don't have the budget to fire a coach, so sorry." I actually appreciated that note. It's like, well, yeah, might as well be practical here.
Might as well be transparent.
So that's basically her way of saying we don't really want him around either, but we don't have another choice here, team.
And poor Oklahoma State. So close. Man. So close. Looks like they're going to go 1,000 days without a Big 12 win. Over 1,000.
Well,
Don't want to speak too soon, but hopefully.
Boy, yeah,
that was rough.
That was, again, they're playing better defense. So
they are playing better.
We're gonna guess the point spread here, but we never guessed the Iowa State point spread. What is? I don't even know what the point. I haven't even looked at what the point spread is for Iowa State and Oklahoma State.
It opened at 14.5.
Okay, so
which is right around where I would have expected.
Two touchdowns. Yep, that's probably where I would put it too. But yes, Oklahoma State is no longer getting rolled over. They are still struggling at times, but they've been feisty.
They got their quarterback back a few weeks ago as well, and that's helped things. They were playing a wide receiver at quarterback.
Now Flores is back.
So Flores back. They're playing a little bit better, but
yeah, and then Fields can run it. I mean, they've got, again, like the thing, which Oklahoma State's going to be interesting to watch too. It sounds like they may get them and Arkansas are fighting over the same 4 or 5 coaches. It sounds like, by the way.
That feels right.
Now the question is who will go where. But they've got, again, like their AD said, it's like it wasn't a money thing with us. As much as Mike Gundy wanted to complain about not having resources, it's like we still have a pretty expensive football team, was his quote. So they have players. For Iowa State's sake, you hope that they don't have some senior day miracle of some kind. And, again, we've seen crazier things than being a 14-point favorite and losing.
Well, you brought it up. We're going to guess the point spreads. And it is brought to you by Webwise. It's where Chris Williams built his book website, fanaticbook.com. We've got a very smart audience. We've got a very literate audience. If you're literate, go and buy Chris's book at fanaticbook.com. And it's a great-looking website because of Webwise. If you're in need to build a website for yourself, your company, go to webwise.com and utilize them. Let's start in Lawrence. Black Friday, 11 a.m. Going head-to-head with the Heroes game that looks to be as exciting as ever in Lincoln, Nebraska. Utah at Kansas. What do you think the spread is on this? Oh, my
gosh. Kansas, I'll say this. Third quarter Kansas, at least they tried. Okay, but that was not an impressive.
Quit, yeah.
They didn't quit. That was rough. Oh, man. What can Utah do to them on the ground? I bet this thing is 13, Jake.
Wow, that's a hit. 13.5. Off to a good start. That night, 8 o'clock in Tempe, Arizona at Arizona State. The Territorial Cup
I
is
like
what they
this
call
game.
it.
That's a Friday night?
It is Friday night, yep. 8 p.m.
Wow.
Maybe I'll come stop by Bondurant.
Come on over. Come on over. This is in Tempe.
It is in Tempe, yep.
Oof. Wow. Sun Devils, 3.5.
What's the rule again? Is it 2 points?
Two in conference.
That's a hit. 1.5.
Oh.
Arizona State. But on Bigger Than 12 this morning, so we're recording this at about 4:45.
Yes.
We did Bigger Than 12 at 9 this morning. Arizona was favored by 1.5, so it's already flipped 2 points towards Kenny.
Team Kenny.
Colorado at Kansas State as the Wildcats are fighting for bowl eligibility to punch their ticket to the Independence Bowl.
Oh, man. Is this it for Dion? This might be the Dion's swan song. But if Colorado beats K-State, that would be enough to fire Chris Kleiman, by the way. It could.
I think so, too. I think you're right.
That thing got south real fast. Oh, boy. But they're not losing to Dion. This is 10.5.
Oh, that's a big miss. 17.5. No. I think this, according to Action Network, it opened at 11.5. I would hammer Colorado.
Did somebody get hurt for them? I mean, not that it matters.
Just Chris Kleiman's feelings.
Yeah, I don't know how K-State bounces back after that press conference with that. But then again, Colorado's checked out since October. And again, I know what happened in October, guys. I was there.
Colorado is playing a little bit better since they switched to Lewis. He's been playing better than Salter was. So I would just take the points there and assume that K-State's not going to win by 3 scores.
Jake, so that's 17.5, right? Is that what you...
Yep.
So if Colorado is going to Ames this weekend, it's probably, 20?
Probably, yeah.
Doesn't that make it kind of...
Yeah, I don't want to think about that. Gosh. Willie Fritz against Dave Aranda.
Oh, no.
In Waco. 11 a.m. on Saturday.
I think name your price for that ticket because you can get in, you can walk in on this one.
Bring a can of vegetables or something.
Yeah. Just not a tent. Can't bring a tent. They don't like tents there. Boy. Baylor 2.
Right on the money.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that. This is a good game. Not. Texas Tech at West Virginia. Also at 11 a.m. There's 4 games, if the Action Network is accurate. 4 Big 12 games at 11 a.m. on Saturday.
Well, at least get it over with. Boy. West Virginia's bad, but not as bad as they have been. I'll say 17.
That's a miss. 21 on the dot.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
That's a lot.
Still probably take Texas Tech.
Yeah, I mean, they've been bullying everybody. That's a weird game, though, because they're in the Big 12 championship already. I know they don't want to lose.
They could probably load manage a little bit if
they could load manage a little bit. A little bit.
Not too much.
But not if you lose that game, though, and then you lose in the Big 12, then obviously you're not making the playoff, though.
Yeah.
21 seems like a lot to me.
UCF. Sorry, that was not a
Too
me being
appropriate.
a gentleman.
Yes.
Central Florida at BYU. Also, this one's at noon actually. So
Noon
4 games at
Iowa
11
time?
a.m. 1 at
What
noon.
are they doing?
This is the TNT game.
Is this in Provo?
It is in Provo.
So it's like 10 o'clock out there? I don't know what they're doing. Maybe not. I get, at this time of year with the daylight saving stuff, the mountain and the Pacific time zone, I don't know what time it is.
Yeah.
Could be
It's
1 or 2
early.
hours. It's early. Either way, it's early. Oh, boy. BYU 15.
Narrow miss. 18.5.
Oh, man. That's a hard one.
And finally, man, this is a weird game. Cincinnati's reeling. They go
are.
to Fort Worth to play
Ooh.
TCU.
Ooh.
This game's at 2:30.
Oh, well,
The
good.
latest game on Saturday.
That is
for the Big
bizarre.
12 is at
That is a
2:30.
weird schedule.
No night games.
When's Oklahoma? Michigan, Ohio State.
I think that's 11 a.m. I think that's
Saturday?
a big noon game.
That's
Yeah,
Saturday.
I can pull it up.
TCU is favored by 5.
That's a hit. 4 on the dot.
Okay.
I would stay away from that game.
Not
Probably just take the points if
I would.
if I had any sort of advice.
Yeah, and I'm gonna guess the TCU fans stay away from that game too. They're not gonna be there.
Just for fun, Iowa at Nebraska, 11 a.m.
Oh
on
gosh.
CBS.
How about my guy Matt Rule turning down Penn State, his alma mater, to sign a big extension, then literally losing 3 of 4, including getting run out of the house at Penn State with an interim coach. Couldn't have happened to a better guy. That said, Iowa's probably favored by 4.
That's a hit. 5.5.
Yeah.
Did you see Rule's answer when asked about the
No.
Penn State interim coach? It was so uncomfortable. I'd
Was it?
encourage you to go watch it.
Okay.
He clearly did not want to talk about the
There-
success of the Penn State interim head
Coach. Interestingly, I hope it happens because it'd be fun as heck. There's a World Iowa State plays Nebraska in Phoenix.
I want it. They're
Let's
not
go.
good right now.
No, I want
They can't throw the ball.
They can't throw. It's Campbell and Rule.
Need it for the storyline.
Yeah, we need the storyline.
The Fighting Golishes hosting Rice Saturday night at 6 o'clock.
I'm hearing, by the way, it's Arkansas or Oklahoma State for that guy.
Really? Mm-hmm. Could have Golish back in the Big 12.
Could. Very possible. We'll see what Arkansas does first. Where's that game?
It is in southern Florida.
Okay. Which is in Tampa, which isn't really Southern Florida. Again, it's very confusing
Very
how they do that.
confusing.
Yeah, very confusing. Boy. USF 13.
25.5.
I am 0 for USF games. I don't know. I don't get him. Don't understand him.
Want to give Tulane a shot? I think they're the
No.
front runners for the college football playoff.
Yeah,
at
they
this
still
point.
might get in. And their coach is going to go somewhere. The question is where. It's John Sumrall. Who do they play?
They're hosting Charlotte.
Of course. Of course.
6:30 on Saturday night.
I bet they're favored by 24, Jake.
29.5.
No.
Narrow miss.
Nobody's getting that one. Nobody's getting that one.
I think that's all that's interesting. There is Texas A&M at Texas. The
Yeah, is that
rematch.
Friday? Is that a Friday?
It is Friday at 6:30 on ABC.
Cool. Good for them. That's in Austin?
It's in Austin.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I bet straight up pick 'em.
We'll give it to you. 2.5 A&M.
Okay. Ooh, so they
I
got
think
the
I'd
road
bet-
team favored.
I think I'd bet Texas.
Yeah, they're out, right? They're not. They
You'd
better
hope.
be.
You'd hope.
They better be out. Don't do
They're-
it to me. Don't.
They're out.
Okay. I can't take a 9-3
is-
Texas in there. I
The
can't.
problem is, if they win this game, the committee, when they leave them out, has to say, this has everything to do with going to overtime with Mississippi State, keeping it close with Kentucky. It has nothing to do with playing at Ohio State. If you subbed Rice in for Ohio State, they would still be left out. The committee has to say that to incentivize teams to keep playing
That's a good point.
those games.
Otherwise, yeah. Because that's interesting. Because a 10-2 Texas, if it just
with
beat
a
up
win
on
with a win
whoever,
against A&M is in.
Yeah,
but they lost to a bad Florida team.
Did
got blown out against Georgia. Went to OT with Mississippi State.
Jake, I can see this going the wrong way.
I know. I think the way things have worked out, though, I think there's enough of a logjam that it couldn't happen.
Okay.
Because then you've got the Miami conversation.
Yeah,
still.
they're similar in that.
So,
I feel for my BYU brethren here. Go Cougars.
I do,
because they're going to get not going to be good for them. Whatever, it's not going to be good for them. The world needs Bear Bachmeier in the playoff.
Selection Sunday will be a lot more fun for the Big 12.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will.
The real Selection Sunday, not ESPN's propaganda rigged
whatever
version.
that is. Yes, totally.
Let's close out with some basketball. First, I'd like to thank the Iowa State University Foundation. You heard Chris Williams in the open. Go and move what matters.
Move what matters.
MoveWhatMatters.com. Support whatever organization, club, team.
The band?
The band. Man, the band had a good day yesterday.
Band had a good day.
It was just a perfect day at Jack
It was
Trice
one of the better days at Jack Trice and again, I love sellouts. I'm team sellout always. It was actually kind of nice though. You kind of got it was a really good crowd.
Yeah. Definitely.
But there was just enough room to maneuver around it. It kind of had a little old school feel to it too.
Yeah, I find myself that not that I never appreciate the band, but when a day is that perfect, it's 55 degrees in November, you're feeling good, life is good, you appreciate how the band sounds a little bit more, and they're always doing good. So if you want to go support the band, do it at MoveWhatMatters.com or whatever organization that you see fit. Iowa State plays in Vegas the next 3-4 days, depending on what happens the first 2 days.
Yes.
Have you seen the line for St. John's yet?
No. Have you seen it?
I have.
I'll go Iowa State favored by 1.
That's a hit. 1.5. I'd play the Cyclones.
The interesting part
for
here.
Yakety Sax.
You think? Bring it back. The interesting part. St. John's has played a much tougher schedule so far.
Yes. Already played Alabama.
They have some dudes. Like they do. They're going to get up and down the floor. I'm super fascinated with how Iowa State wants to treat this game from do you try and run with them? I mean, Iowa State's shown more full court pressure so far this year than it has in the past couple of years. So I think they got more numbers. We know this. They're comfortable running a little bit more. Do you want to do that, though, with St. John's, which literally that's what St. John's does. And then also worth noting, Mississippi State got beat by 20 by K-State.
And then they lost to New Mexico.
Okay, they did?
Last night.
Gee,
yeah,
so that's not
they're
helpful.
Reeling.
Bulldogs are not helping the cause here?
I think Iowa State has dropped 4 spots in KenPom.
Just because of them. Yeah.
Because of Chris Jans.
So I think the reasonable question is, how good is this Iowa State team? Because you can't take much. You can take a lot from Mississippi State because Iowa State destroyed them. But apparently that's not as impressive as we thought in the moment.
At the time. Yeah.
At the time. However, I still know a good basketball team generally, and Iowa State's got all the pieces to be a good basketball team. Will they be ready, though, for 2 different styles back-to-back? I mean, St. John's and Kraton play different styles, both very talented teams, and then whoever you're going to get on that next game, this is going to be a huge test. Either way, even if Iowa State goes 0-3, Iowa State is going to learn so much about what it needs to do to get better here, because, again, I just can't look at Mississippi State anymore of like that's a harbinger of what's to come.
I like the matchup because St. John's doesn't really have a point guard.
That's hopeful.
And that, to me, seems like a really good matchup for Iowa State. They feel a little bit like Baylor the past few years where it's a lot of elite talent. I mean, Baylor had VJ Edgecombe last year.
Yeah, great.
He's
tearing up the NBA.
He's already a top 25, 30 player in the NBA, and Baylor couldn't do anything with him. St. John's reminds me a little bit of them where they've got talent across the board, and they're going to put it together at some point this season. They're going to put it together certain games early in the season, and they're going to look unbeatable. That could very, very well happen on Monday. However, if there's a type of team that I want Iowa State to play, a group of really good athletes, good basketball players that maybe don't know how to play together yet. And that's kind of how I envision this going on Monday.
Yeah, I think the strength here for St. John's is those two bigs. I mean, Ejiofor is one of the best bigs in the country.
Yeah.
Runs the floor great. Big dude, but, I agree that it's the guards that are going to dictate how this game goes for St. John's. Because if Iowa State can speed them up, which Iowa State has done to really everybody, if the guards can't get the ball to the post, I don't care how good the post is. And I think that's the question. If Iowa State speeds them up, makes those guards uncomfortable, even as fast as St. John's plays, that leads to run-outs on the other end. I think Iowa State could win this comfortably. I do. Now, if those guards play better, take care of the ball, and get it to the bigs, and Iowa State doesn't shoot well, then absolutely St. John's could win this by double figures.
Absolutely.
I think this will be a tempo game and a matchup-driven game, but I like having Lipsy and Torre and Bateman and Nate trying to disrupt those youngish St. John's guards this early in the season. I am of the firm belief that Iowa State is a problem to play any time of year, but especially difficult in November, because you just cannot simulate what Iowa State does to teams. We saw it in Maui too, and that was ended up being a very average Iowa State defensive team, and Iowa State still caused all sorts of problems for Auburn, who was actually a really good team. But yeah, I think Iowa State, it has the potential to really speed them up more and make them uncomfortable and dictate terms in this game. If St. John's has it the other way and Iowa State gets in an up and down track meet where it's 190, I don't want that game. Don't want that game at all.
One aspect of this that I do like, you mentioned how good their bigs are. I like how Iowa State's had a week to prepare for this game, because TJ's talked about it a lot. Buchanan has talked about it a lot. Buchanan's at his best when he knows what's coming and he can anticipate and he can be in position. Buchanan is really good, but he's not good if he's in foul trouble.
True.
I think he's less likely to get in foul trouble when he's had a week to prepare for this matchup. He not knows what's coming, but is going to be in better position. I'll go on the record, and I'm going to predict Iowa State to win this game by 12 or 14.
Wow.
I have a really
Love it.
good feeling about it for some reason.
Yeah. I like that.
But it's also November college basketball at a neutral site.
Yeah, but you make a good point. I mean, this is a game, though, based on Iowa State's known value of metrics, where you put a lot of eggs in this basket on Monday. You do.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, because it's going to look great come March. This game will look, I know it's a weird thing to say, but as good, if not better. If a neutral site win over St. John's team, who's going to finish in the top 15, will look better than pretty much any other big-time game Iowa State's going to play this year.
Yeah. At Arizona, at KU, those are the only other games.
Totally, which is a weird thing to say because it's still a weird time in the middle of the afternoon in Las Vegas. However, you make a great point where when Iowa State's got a week to prepare for one game, and I'm saying they're obviously scouting the other teams in this tournament. They will have a scout for Kraton as well. But even getting out of this tournament with a win over St. John's is a success, because that's going to look
100%.
really good down the road and could be the difference in a seed. And so I have no doubt Iowa State is putting a lot of attention on this game and will have a legit, what I would say is a Big 12 conference game plan, in that this will be very detailed, very into it. I think the next two games will be a little bit harder because you have a shorter turnaround, but Iowa State's had 8 days to prepare for this, and there's no doubt they will give St. John's Iowa State's best effort, no question.
Well, and Kraton is another fascinating game. One, because we saw them play in a scrimmage without Tame and Lipsy, and I think the team we saw the second half of that game was a lot closer to the Iowa State team that we've seen so far this season. Kraton has been bad to start the year.
They have.
They got destroyed by Gonzaga. They got beat by 27 against Gonzaga. In that game, that wasn't even as close as the score indicated. Owen Freeman, former friend from out east, has been really bad to start the year. They just lost Jackson McAndrew, their other big man for the year. This is a reeling Kraton team, but they also do play a style of basketball similar to BYU that has given Iowa State fits in the past. So this is not a shoe-in victory, even though the way it kind of looks on paper and how Kraton's playing it looks like it should be an easy one. It would not shock me whatsoever if TJ's mentor has a really good game plan.
Yeah, they dictated terms in Omaha, and I know that was an exhibition game, but again, like, you are who you are.
It happened.
And it happened. I saw it. I was there. They play Baylor tomorrow on Monday afternoon at 1. So keep an eye on that. I mean, that's obviously two teams Iowa State will go hand to hand here with this year. Yeah, I'm not taking a whole lot from Kraton's loss to Gonzaga. I think Gonzaga's really good, and obviously Kraton's got a lot of new pieces that we're not ready for that atmosphere. I anticipate the Iowa State Kraton game is going to come down the wire. I know they got injury issues, but the way Kraton plays is going to give Iowa State some fits, because what Kraton still does is they take care of the ball. They just really value the ball, and teams that do that, Iowa State has a harder time speeding them up. That's why I'm really fascinated of what will St. John's do? Because they're not going to slow down. St. John's is not slowing down. It's just, can Iowa State make them so uncomfortable that the pace is a detriment to St. John's?
When I found out I was filling in, I thought it'd be fun to preview this entire tournament and say, who's going to win it all? And then,
is there a winner? I mean, it's like, I don't know.
So I put out a tweet where it was my understanding that the way the championship would be decided is you take the 2-0 teams, whoever has the highest point differential out of those 2-0 teams will play for the championship. Apparently that's not the case.
Oh.
I received a text from someone within the athletic department who said, along the lines, I think they're changing the rules as they go, is what it feels like.
This is TV dictated tournament.
So I don't know when Iowa State's going to play their third game. If they're going to play, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, they will play
a third game. Who they're going to play, when they're going to play it, who the championship is going to be. Because this KenPom thing that I laid out, I essentially just found their point spreads for all these games, and I plugged it into an Excel sheet.
Look at you.
If it plays out how KenPom thinks, Gonzaga would be the number 1 team and Houston would be the number 2 team. But apparently they can't play because they're in the same pool, which I didn't know there were pools. So I don't know. I don't know who's going to win it. I thought it'd be fun to make a prediction, but there's no way of knowing.
I can see some mythical Wizard of Oz figure in the back room just, okay, Iowa State, you get Auburn. I mean, honestly, that's kind of what it is, right? It's just this committee gets to decide. TV? Does TV get to decide?
But I also think that point differential will come into play a little bit. So I don't think if Iowa State goes 1-1 and beats Kraton by 15, I don't think they're going to pair them against UNLV if they lost both games by 20.
Yeah.
I think it's more going to be like the 15th team might play the 16th. But again, I don't know. The rules have been seemingly changing on the fly.
I believe, just so people find it on their old TV channel, True TV for both of them.
That's right. It'll be on In Between Impractical Jokers. Just kidding. I think all the basketball I think it's going to be basketball on True TV for like 14 hours straight.
And then the game Monday's 3:30 Iowa time.
Yep, 3:30 Iowa time, 1 o'clock Iowa time on Tuesday.
So rearrange your work calendar accordingly. People aren't working on Tuesday at 1 o'clock. We're going to the game. We're having a long lunch, everybody. Okay? Tell them I will sign your permission slip. Do we even do permission? I don't know.
We're doing lunch European style.
If your work doesn't let you watch the Iowa State game Tuesday at 1 o'clock, then go to Mechdyne.com.
Quit and go to Mechdyne.
Just go right there.
Well, this was fun, Blum.
Man, was this our... We've done podcasts, but this is the first the Sunday evening one, maybe the second.
I think it was the first. It was definitely the first in-season podcast. We did a lot over the summer when we were trying to regurgitate.
Yes.
Is the offensive line going to be good? I guess.
And the answer is yes.
So this is the first one.
I just want scoreboard just one time in my life, guys, that the offensive line was good this year. Okay, can we admit that? For Tyler Miller, James Neal. Yeah. So no, awesome as always, and. Maybe we'll 1 o'clock late lunch, you and me on Tuesday.
Sounds fun to me. Come on, if you want a podcast, I think it's just me and Aiden on the pre and post game show. So
I'll make an appearance.
Anything,
I'll make an appearance. Why not? Let's go.
Hopefully we've got a couple of happy post-game
Yes.
reaction shows the next 2 days. Be sure to check out Cyclone Fanatic on YouTube to watch those live, cyclonefanatic.com. We got so much content up all over the place. Check out all our good shows. We've got a new episode of Inside Zone. We'll have the Daily Clone all week. Thank you for tuning in here to the Northwest Bank Studios for Williams and Blum on a Sunday night.